Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam
Shankaram
Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namah
Bhavitvaram Mukham
Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam.
Verse 50. Tirtva moharnavam hatva together. Tirtva moharnavam hatva ragadveshadirakshasan yogi shanti samayuktaha atma ramo virajate bahya nitya sukha saktim hitvatma sukha nirvritaha ghatastha deepavat swasthaha svantareva prakashate upadhisthopi tadharmaihi alipto vyomavan munih sarvavinmudhavat tishthet asakto vayuvaccharet.
So, the whole sadhak's journey is captured through this one verse, verse number 50. And this is expressed through the metaphor. Not just one aspect, so Rupaka metaphor, but the metaphor is a very extended metaphor. The whole aspect is captured. So if only one aspect is taken, we call it as a metaphor, but everything is taken in English, they call it as extended metaphor. So this is a very large Rupaka. What is said here? A sadhaka, they're taking Ramayana, right? So, Bhagavan Rama, he's Bhagavan only. But when he loses Sita, when he loses the Paramananda, it's very difficult to recognize that he is Rama. He's very sad, he's crying. All Jiva Bhava is seen. But actually it is Bhagavan, it is Paramatma only. Like that, we are also, today, even if the Guru tells us, you are Paramatma, you are the Supreme, you are the Lord. Pata nahi Guru ko kya ho gaya? Is it not? Bhagavan Rama, after Sita ji, then you look at, it is said, it is said Parvati ji. She, when she was seeing Rama behaving like this, crying, all the while crying, all the time crying, so sad. Then he told Lord Shiva, what are you? You are saying that Bhagavan Rama and you are sitting in dhyana of Bhagavan Rama. Look at him. Bhagavan said, if you have any doubt, I'm telling you, if you have any doubt, you can yourself check out. Bhagavan. So it is said that Parvati ji took the form of Sita ji and came in front of Bhagavan Rama when he was searching. Bhagavan Rama, he looked at Sita ji, Parvati. Mother, why have you come here in this form? To show that in truth, it's all Leela, you see. In the same way, we are all having, Paramatmans, all of us are having now a Jivatma Leela. Only thing is that we are not aware. So that same Paramatma, that same Supreme Brahman, losing its Swarupa, forgetting its Ananda Swarupa. Why did it forget? Why did it forget its Ananda Swarupa? Because Ajnana has taken it away. Ravana here representing Ajnana, taking hold of our true nature and veiling it from our experience, keeping it in Lanka. Keeping it Lanka, Suvarna Nagari. Taken it far away. Then what does Bhagavan Rama have to do? That Jivatma has to take the journey to reclaim his own true Swarupa. Just because Sita ji is there, Sita ji does not belong to Ravana. Ravana cannot touch her, go near her, anywhere near. Just because we have lost our Ananda, that Ananda cannot go anywhere. It belongs to us only. So this seeker takes the journey. What is said here? Tirtva moharanavam. Crossing the ocean of moha. What do you mean crossing the ocean of moha? The seeker crossing the ocean of, through the process of bridging the ocean through the process of Shravana, Manana goes. Ragadveshadi rakshasan hatva. It is not that the seeker does not conquer his ragadvesha, otherwise he can't be a seeker. Yes, what? At some level with ragadvesha, kama, krodha, lobha, some level. Only then he will be able to take to Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. If ragadveshas and kama, krodha are ruling the mind, how can Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana be done? It's not like that. Even before the seeker has weakened them. But then hatva, killing the ragadvesha, kama, krodha, etc. Hatva means what? Killing them, destroying them at the root. Even overcoming the vasana level, the deep impression level, that also. That is meaning of hatva. Hatva ragadveshadi rakshasan. And ragadvesha, the final rakshasa of rakshasa is Ravana there. He is the Raja of the Rakshasas. So raga, dvesha, kama, krodha. You see there is one adi there, you see. Adi means what? Starting with raga, dvesha, etc. Completing up to Ravana. Such a person who has destroyed ajnanam, such a person becomes a yogi. Yogi means what? One who is united. United with what? Yogi shanti samayuktaha. United with that Ananda. Shanti is peace. Shanti is Ananda. Shanti is that final relaxation. Shanti is that kritakrityata, the completion. Shanti is that absolute fulfillment. Gaining that Ananda through the various processes of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, and finally Samadhi. Now, that yogi becomes what? Earlier he was suffering. Now, Atma-ramaha. Atma-ramaha. Atma-rama means what? One who revels in the self. You cannot revel in Jivatma. Jivatma is Dukkhamaya. Now, united with that Shanti, Paramananda, Rama becomes truly Atma-ramaha. Earlier you were only Rama. Now, Atma-ramaha. Earlier only Rama means what? Rama is what? One who... Rama, the word Rama comes from the root Ram. Ram doesn't mean oh, wala Ram hai. Ram means to enjoy. Now fully fulfilled where? In the self. Not Jagada Rama. Now what Rama? Atma Rama. Not Vishaya Arama, but Atma Rama. Because now the Atman is with Ananda. Now the Atman is Paramatman. Virajate. Virajate, Shobhate, shines with all radiance, with all fulfillment, with all completeness. Right? We have seen this verse, but I'm just giving you one more time the overview. Now, various other points also we have seen, all of them detailing the nature of the Jivan Mukta. Alright. Now, so who is a Jivan Mukta? Jivan eva muktaha, Jivan Muktaha. While living itself liberated. While living itself liberated means what? While living itself liberated means while the body, mind and intellect are all there, even at that time, the person does not have the experience of the pains and sorrows and the limitations of the body, mind and intellect. Those things which the body can give, those things which the mind can give, that which the intellect can give, a person is free of all those things. Jivan Muktaha. Alright. Now we go to a person is a Jivan Mukta, meaning as long as Upaadhis are there. Now when the Upaadhis end, when will the Upaadhis end? Upaadhis will end when the prarabdha for the Upaadhis end. What do you mean, Swamiji, prarabdha? From the whole collection of karmas, karma, punya, papa, results of karmas, a whole bank, or so to say a collection of all these karmas which we have collected in infinite number of births. Okay? All of them are called as sanchita. This is a Vedantic term, sanchita. The word sanchita means collection. In some language, the word sanchi is there. That means bag. That means a bag. A bag in which you keep things, collect things. Sanchi. Alright. So sanchita, the collection of all punya papa. Now, from that collection, whatever matures means whatever is ready for expression. Whatever karma we do collects. It is not that all the results come at one time. They all mature at different points of time. And when they mature, then according to how it matures, the body will be there. It is said, if punya and papa are kind of, if punya and papa, let us say, punya is more. Which punya is more? The entire we are not talking. In that which matures. Let us say X, speaking in the mathematical, X universal set. Let us say X is equal to A, B, C, etc., goes on. And then, so from this universal set X, let us say, a subset matures, A matures. A is equal to probably A is equal to, let us say, capital A is equal to, let us say, small a, then C, then probably Y, then probably Z, let us say. So you have 4 or 5 which matures. Now in this which matures, if punya is more, these are the options. Punya is more, papa is more, punya and papa almost similar. Let us say 3 options. If punya is more, one takes an embodiment of a higher being. It's called devata and all those things, Indra, Vayu, Varuna. So that is a higher being. Now if papa is more, what do you mean one takes a higher embodiment? One gains an embodiment where joy will be more. That is the meaning of. Different beings have different amount of joys. Different embodiments give different kinds of joys. If papa is more, then embodiments which make one experience more sorrow and pain are there. So you get lower embodiments. Usually when they say lower embodiments, what they refer to is embodiments where you cannot avoid pain. Tree just keeps standing. Rain or sun or nothing it can do. An animal goes to shade. So little more evolved. Little more evolved means what? Little more it is able to protect itself. Meaning it can protect itself from sorrow. But even then, there also, no food, nothing, raining for Kerala in a very few days or probably in a few weeks, Karkata Masa will begin. Karkata Masa, that is the season of rain. Non-stop it will rain. Day in and day out it will rain. I do not know, I have not experienced probably in some northeast states it may be there. Non-stop rain. 1 month full. Sometimes it will go to 45 days. Just goes on and on and on and rain. Poor birds, dogs and all. Where they get food? No idea. No, yes, animals better than plants, they can, but even then, there is a level of suffering. In other words, those creatures, insects, birds and animals and these kind of lower embodiments, they consider lower embodiments. Sorrow is, lower embodiments means what? Sorrow is more, that's all. Sac-chid-aanandam Swarupa is same everything. Sorrow is more. Then that is called lower embodiments. And it is said when joy and sorrow are kind of almost equal, then almost equal. Not that exactly 50%, not like that. Almost equal. Then what happens? One gets a human embodiment. So this is how. Now Swamiji, what is the proof? For this and all, what is proof I can say? These are not in our realm of observation. That is why it is said, on such matters which are beyond the realm of human senses and human mind, alaukika vishaye vedaha pramanam. The Vedas are the means of knowledge. All right. So, the main point is what? From that, you have something maturing, creating an embodiment. And let us say, equal, kind of similar, then you have a human embodiment. In the human embodiment, one has a capacity for self-effort. One has a capacity to watch the mind, to correct the mind. One has the ability to think deeper. other embodiments are called bhoga yonis. They're embodiments of experience only. Nothing much is being done there. They just go through the joy, 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 joy. Or sorrow, 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 sorrow. There's no viveka. Just goes on. Whereas in a human embodiment, this combination of joy and sorrow which comes, and the presence of an intellect which can inquire, is the ideal situation for spiritual unfoldment. Therefore, where Purushartha is there, and therefore the human embodiment and the human life, okay, they are the yonis for greater achievement. Karma bhumi, where you can do something. So, let us say in the human embodiment, some person gets this mumukshutva, desire for liberation, and then becomes a jignasu, desire for knowledge, mumukshu, jignasu, and then walks the path, shravana, manana, nididhyasana, and gains the liberation, gains the knowledge. What is the knowledge? Aham Brahmasmi. And then because of that knowledge, the person is a mukta, jivan mukta. Body, mind and intellect are there, yes. The person transcended the body, transcended the mind, transcended the intellect. But body, mind and intellect are there. They are the equipments which have come because of prarabdha. What is prarabdha? From the sanchita, that packet which starts expressing, which is maturing. Now that what is maturing? Karma is maturing. And as karma is maturing, the results of that punya papa comes to be experienced. So that packet which is maturing, that is called as what? That is called as prarabdha. Why prarabdha it is called? Prakarshena arabdham iti prarabdham. Because it has started giving its results. Prakarshena arabdham. Arabdham, it has started giving the results. And then what happens? Then as a person goes through his life, then a person experiences the joy and sorrow as per prarabdha. As per prarabdha. Human embodiment means joy will be there, sorrow also will be there. Joy also, sorrow also will be there means what? For the person who is identified with the upaadhis. Joy will be there, sorrow will also be there. Bhoga, ayatanam, bhoga, sadhanam. These are there. That means what? Bhoga means what? Sukha and dukkha is the bhoga. Going through sukha and dukkha will be there. Because bhoga ayatanam, body is there, and bhoga sadhanam, the mind, intellect, senses are all there. You remember this bhoga ayatanam, bhoga sadhanam? Which is bhoga ayatanam? Stula shariram. Which is bhoga sadhanam? Sukshma sharira. So that is there even for a jnani. A jnani does not think I am the body. A jnani does not think I am the mind, intellect which experiences the joy and sorrow. No, jnani does not think. Nevertheless, as long as this punya and papa, now he can't do anything. You may be a jnani, so what? But the punya and papa are prarabdham, prakarshena arabdham. They are giving their results. They will give results as long as what? As long as this prarabdha exists. What is prarabdha? From the sanchita, that bit that subset, not the whole set, that subset which is giving that expression. Punya and papa, what they will express? Punya will be experienced as joy, papa will be experienced as sorrow. So the jnani's body also will experience joy and sorrow. The jnani's mind also will experience joy and sorrow. But jnani is distant. Jnani is a sakshi. He knows I am not the body, I am not the mind. And therefore, joy and sorrow do not touch him. Him means what? Jnani, when we say him, jnani is sac-chid-aanandam. There is no jiva there. Sac-chid-aanandam. So body and intellect, this subtle body, gross body, they will go through their whatever prarabdha is to be there. Mind will go joy and sorrow means what? Mind will say, this is, intellect will say, this is joy, this is sorrow. But the jnani is not perturbed. Why? Jnani is sac-chid-aanandam swarupa. So, how long will the joy and sorrow be there? As long as the prarabdha in expression. And when prarabdha completes fully its expression, what will happen to that body? When the prarabdha is fully exhausted. Now, see, when the prarabdha, let us say a jnani is, at the age of 80, let us say the jnani is dying. Okay, let us say. And I'm just saying that at the age of 80, jnani is dying. Jnani has no age, okay? Because jnani is sac-chid-aanandam. I'm saying jnani is dying, but jnani has no death. Because jnani is not the body, but for usage. Okay, you understand now. When it is 80, let us say jnani lives up to 100 for easy calculation. Okay? Now, when the jnani finishes 100% of prarabdha is over, what will happen? Not Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti is when that person, jnani, gains that knowledge, I am Sac-chid-aanandam. The prarabdha is for the body, mind I am talking of. When 100%, let us say, the jnani is born, now prarabdha starts functioning. Let us say, jnani is born. Now what has happened? Prarabdha starts. Prarabdha clock starts. Tuck, 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 tuck. Now jnani goes to 50 years. Tuck, tuck, it has come to half. Prarabdha has come to half. Now jnani goes to 75. Prarabdha is 75% complete. Jnani goes to 100. Prarabdha is 100% over. Then what will happen to the body? Guy. Over. What will happen to the mind? For ajnani, what happens to the mind? The mind takes one more embodiment. Because vasanas are there, desires are there, ajnana is still there, one more embodiment. One more embodiment means what? One more packet of prarabdha is beginning. Now for this jnani, nothing. Because there is nobody there to take birth. Jiva is not there to take birth. Then this whole sanchita, what happens? Gaya. Gaya. Prarabdha, over. Now, finished. Finished. Prarabdha over means what? Body over, mind over. Mind over means, Swamiji, what? Over means what? You remember what is the body made up of? Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta. What is the mind intellect made up of? Apanchikrita Panchamahabhuta. When the body is burnt, or what body is, let us say, buried, or whatever the way, the body goes back to its 5 elements. Which element? Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta. Now, same way, what happens to the mind, intellect? It goes back to its causes. What's its cause? Apanchikrita Panchamahabhuta. The gross elements go back to the gross elements, the subtle elements go back to the subtle elements. You understand? Swamiji. Yeah. Swamiji. I am not jnani. Okay? Yes, I know that I am not jnani. So, what is the question? You see, I am doing actions, many actions, right? Now, every action will have punya-papa, correct? What happens to that punya-papa? Some of them we will exhaust here and now. Here and now, some of them. Some of them will get added to the sanchita. these actions that we are doing, whose results will come during this, if it is going to mature now, or whose results will come in the future janma, meaning it will come later, that is called agami karma. Now you have three terms. Sanchita, which is a collection of all the karmas. Karma means punya papa I am talking of. Then you have prarabdha karma, which means what? Which is that which is expressing throughout one's life. Prarabdha karma. And then as one is performing actions, one creates also fresh karma. And that karma which will give results later, they are called as agami karma. Now Swamiji, for me, yes, it will join the Sanchita. Some of them will be there. I will get it here itself. Suppose I take every day, I keep on doing. The result of it will come in this Janma only. I don't have to wait for next Janma. Some problem here and there, some cancer here and there, nose and then this and that. Or I take this, what do you call that? Something they put in the mouth, tobacco and pan and all those things. Meaning, sometimes you can, for some kind of very terrible thing, you can get so many things can happen. Including you could be hanged. Not you, I can be hanged. Okay. Anything can happen. Right? Anything can happen. Well, prarabdha is what one gets through the life. Some of the agami, some of the actions that I do, I will get results. Some of them I will get in future. All those things are fine when a jnani does actions. When a jnani does actions. Will jnani do actions or no? No, Samji, jnani is Shuddha Brahman. No, we are not talking of that Shuddha Brahman. When I say jnani does actions means what? The body is acting, the mind is acting. So that means what? Karma is being done. If karma is being done, then you also have punya papa coming, because every action will have punya papa. Now, but punya papa, the jnani will not get. That is what we say, that punya papa does not affect the jnani. Why? Because there is no person there to affect. That is like a roasted seed. Somebody was taking an example. With respect to the jnani, that punya papa is a roasted seed. But one may say that punya papa, what happens to it? Yes, it doesn't touch the jnani. But what happens to that punya papa? Here again Shastra says, those who love that Mahatma, serve that Mahatma, devoted to that Mahatma, and take care and do things which are essential for that Mahatma. Not just take care means give him food and no. If the Mahatma envisions a vision, some Mahatmas envision, some Mahatmas sit quietly, some Mahatmas think of great big things for the world. Swami Vivekananda ji, Swami Chinmayananda ji, Swami Vidyaranya. What a great person he was. He was the one who helped or inspired Harihara and Bukka to start the Vijayanagara Empire. And he was also Prime Minister. Some Mahatmas too. Vasishta was the Kulaguru of Sri Rama. Some Mahatmas do many things. Now when these Mahatmas do such things, actions, right? Now remember, when a Mahatma does actions also, Mahatma is doing actions with mind and intellect. Right? The mind and intellect. Sometimes let us say, a Mahatma, when functioning in the world, an error is there. An error is there. Possible. Not that the Mahatma is going to consciously do some error and trouble people. No. Sometimes it can happen. The very act of living also has its own problems. Very act of living. We eat food. How many creatures? Yes. Life means what? Life means there is death. Jivo jivasya jivanam. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One jiva becomes food for another jiva. Meaning, so many things are there in the course of life. Even if I take my hand and do like this, unknowingly there are so many things. In some cultures, in order to avoid, in some traditions and in sampradayas, in order to avoid such kind of killing, they take up certain kinds of vratas. Yes, we won't eat some vegetables which are under the ground. Take vratas. Why? Because from that, how many jivas come? From one that, let us say, example, potato. I'm just giving an example. You take a potato. You put that potato, not just one, in that plant, how many potatoes come? So they take such, or when they walk, they ensure that things are clean so that nothing, So many methods, each tradition, sampradaya, according to their ways, they do it. But as long as one person is alive, so many things will happen. Consciously, unconsciously, knowingly, unknowingly. Karacharana-kritam va, kayajam, karmajam va, shravana-nayanajam va, manasam va, paradam. Through our senses, mind. So many things can happen in life. So when the jnani is living also, there are things. Of course, a Mahatma does loka kalyana. Loka kalyana means what? He does activities which are auspicious and beneficial for the whole world. So much of punya activities, benefiting generations after generations, Mahatmas do. And in the course of life also, something here and there can happen. The very act of living itself also causes its own things. Now, what happens to those agami of a jnani? Question is asked. What happens? For a normal person, we know what happens. Goes to Sanchita, and then from Sanchita comes one thing, and from that, according to that, next janma will happen. Yes, all those philosophy theory we have understood. Now, when a jnani, what happens? It is said that punya of the jnani, which doesn't go to him because he is not there to take. All the Sanchita, entire thing is destroyed. So, the punya goes to those who love, care, devoted, and serve his vision and cause. Yes. And the jnani's punya is so much. So those who are devoted to those Mahatmas, even if they have not done so many good actions to get them, the very fact that they get the enormous, no talking in the middle of the class. So the enormous punya goes to them. And the papa, what happens papa? Put him on the cross. That Mahatma. Put him on the cross. Nail him. It will go to those fellows. What did he do? He was telling some stories. And he was telling simple things. Very simple things he was telling. Love your neighbor as thyself. What did he do, this man? Blessed are the poor, for they shall see the kingdom of God. Blessed are the pure at heart, for they shall see God. What did this fellow do? Why are you putting him on the cross? Gaya, unka paap. So this, how do you say, Swami? How do you say? No way to say. Alaukika vishaye vedaha pramanam. In Atmabodha, this topic is taken up. In Atmabodha, it is not coming, all these details. Agami, Sanchita, Prarabdha, all taken up there. So, what? When the Prarabdha is over, Upaadhi vilayaat. Did we read the verse? Let us read the verse 52. Now you have got the introduction for the next verse. Okay? So far, introduction. Now verse.
Upaadhi vilayaat vishnau nir-vishesham vishen munih
nir-vishesham vishen munih
jale jalam vyomni
jale jalam vyomni
tejasi yathaa
tejasi yathaa
Upaadhi vilayaat vishnau nir-vishesham vishen munih jale jalam vyomni tejasi yathaa.
Upaadhi vilayaat. When the Upaadhi have exhausted their time and they have vilaya. Vilaya means what? They are dissolved. What do you mean dissolved? The Upaadhi. Stula Sharira, the Stula Panchamahabhuta dissolves in the Panchamahabhuta Stula. The Sukshma Sharira, the made up of the Stula, Sukshma Panchamahabhuta, Tanmatra, they go back to the Tanmatra. Vilayaat. When this will happen? When the prarabdha is exhausted. Then what happens? What happens to this Mahatma? What happens to this Mahatma means what? What happens to this sac-chid-aanandam, which is his self, Atma? Munih nir-vishesham vishet. This Muni, this Mahatma, what has happened? He has become what? Nir-vishesham. Nir-vishesham means what? Earlier you saw him with Vishesha. You saw him with Vishesha means what? You saw the Mahatma with the body. And then you called him Guru. My Guru is Swami Chinmayananda. You give him a name. And that Vishesha was there. Now that Vishesha is what? Nir-vishesham. That Sac-chid-aanandam which you could see as a form. That Supreme Brahman walking on legs. That Supreme Brahman having a mouth to talk. That Vishesha, nir-vishesham, vishet, it enters. In other words, it becomes distinctionless. There is no more for you also. For him, he was never the body. For you also, there is nothing to see there. Example, jale, jalam. Jale, jalam, bubble. Jalam. That bubble, when it breaks, what happens to that jala in that bubble? What happens to the water of the bubble? Becomes the ocean water. Jale, jalam. First jale. Jale refers to that large expanse of water. Jalam refers to bubble. The bubble. The bubble water. Or the water bubble, whatever you want to say. That water bubble, what happens to that water? Goes back to water. Jale, jalam. Viyat, vyomni. Viyat, vyomni, space into space. You have built a wall. And then you say this is the room where you have a room. Now you are saying this is room space. Space is all pervasive. But let us say it's time for this building to go away, and then what happens to this? Then the space mixes. The space becomes one with the space. Meaning the room space becomes one with the total space. Viyat, vyomni. So vyomni is what? In the total space. That is total space. Viyat, that is also space. That means what? The room space, the smaller space, becomes one with the all-pervading space. Say also, tejah, tejasi, a spark. A spark is also fire. It is fire with a shape. Now what happens to that spark? That becomes one with the main fire. In other words, what remains is a one truth. In this way. Such a state is called videha mukti. Videha mukti. Liberation. Liberation at the fall of the body. Videha mukti. So you have these two. Jivan mukti, videha mukti. So far we saw Jivan Mukti. Now we have Videha Mukti. Only one verse of Videha Mukti, okay? Only one verse. No elaboration. Because what is there to say? That's all. It is all in our perception. Jnani is neither a Jivan Mukta nor Videha Mukta. Jnani is what? Nitya Mukta. That is also a word only. We say it's a Jivan Mukta Purusha. And when the body falls, we say Videha Mukta. That is our perception. From the Jnani's perception, he is not a Jiva at all. He is only Shuddha Brahman. sac-chid-aanandam Swarupa. He is a supreme truth. That's all. Shall we read this verse once more and then we go further? Upaadhi vilayaat vishnau nir-vishesham vishet munih jale jalam viyat vyomni tejasi yathaa. Like this. Va means what? Any of these examples is fine. Right? Remember, a spark is what we identify in a fire. That spark is also fire. That bubble is also water. Even when it is there, it is only water. We are seeing it as bubble. Water does not say it is bubble. The Gata-akasha, or the room space, is only our imagination. There is only one space. Space has never been broken into room space and outside space. There is only one space. All right. Now going further. Going further means what? Text is over. Text is over. Pura ho gaya. Next appendix. Over. Mahatma is over. Now what? Kya padna hai abhi? I can close the class now itself. Over. Ho gaya. But the rest of the verses is what? The rest of the verses are again recapitulating the essence for us to hold in our heart, for us, to benefit us. So, if you see from next verse, let us say, next verse is 54, am I right? 54 to 61, Bhagavan Shankaracharya is reveling in that. That is this highest reality. That is the highest reality. Meaning, after giving the whole teaching of Atmabodha, now he says, this is Brahman. Understand that as Brahman. That is Brahman. That is Brahman. Tad Brahma iti ava-dhaarayet. Ava-dhaarayet. Ava-dhaarayet means what? Come to firmly understand that this is Brahman. What is Brahman? That Chid-aanandam. You know what it is? I will tell you. One by one. Okay? He keeps saying, of course, in the next two verses, he speaks of the glory of that realization. And that glory is immeasurable in every way. Right? That's what he takes up in the next two verses.
Yallaabhaanaparo laabhah
Anaparo laabhah
Yat sukhaanaparam sukham Yat jnanaanaparam jnanam
Jnanaanaparam jnanam
Tad brahmetyavadharayet
Tad brahmetyavadharayet
Yad drishtva naparam drishyam Yad bhutva na punar-bhavah
Yad bhutva na punar-bhavah
Yad jnatva naparam neyam
Yad jnatva naparam neyam
तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्
तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्
यल्लाभान्नापरो लाभः यत्सुखान्नापरं सुखं यज्ञानान्नापरं ज्ञानं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत् यद्दृष्ट्वा नापरं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा नापरं नेयं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्
Laabhaat naparo laabhaah. That gain after which there is no higher gain after that. Meaning highest gain. Why? Because that is gaining one's infinite nature. No finite can compare with the infinite. Many additions of finite cannot become infinite. Because what is infinite? Infinite is that from which nothing can be taken. Even if you take, it remains infinite. Nothing can be added, because even if you add, it still remains infinite. Purnamidam purnamada purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva avashishyate. Swami, what does it mean? You find out. Right? Laabhaat naparo laabhaah. That gain, after gaining which there is nothing further which is to be gained, because that is infinite. Yet sukhaat naparam sukham. That bliss after having reached which there is nothing further to be considered as bliss, happiness. Nothing further can be added to it, because it is infinite bliss. Yet jnanat naparam jnanam. That knowledge after gaining which there is no further knowledge to be gained. Why? Because it is not something knowing something. It is actually being the very knowledge itself. Knowing can be many. But to be the knowledge itself, wow, that's a very different thing. Tad brahma iti ava-dhaarayet. Know that to be Brahman. Existence, it's infinite. Jnana, it is infinite. Joy, it is infinite. Sac-chid-aananda, it is ananta sac-chid-aananda. Yadrishtva naparam drishyam. After seeing which, there's nothing which is there to be seen, because everything is that only. Yadbhutva na punar-bhavah. After becoming which, there is no more, one more becoming of taking any embodiment. Na punar-bhavah, na punar-janma. Yajñātva na aparam nyayam. After knowing which, there's nothing yet further remaining to be known. Because once you know it, you understand this alone is the truth. Nothing else is truth to be known any further. Tad brahma iti ava-dhaarayet. Know that to be Brahman. So in other words, these verses are also pointing out, apart from saying that it is Brahman, what is Brahman, it also says what is that complete gain, infinite gain of a Mahatma, the Jnani. Next two verses together. These verses are not for explanation. These verses are for reveling. Right? Tat Brahma iti ava-dhaarayet. All these verses, they're only for reveling. Once you understand the whole Vedanta thought, then you can keep reading yourself and revel in that. Next two verses.
तिर्यगूर्ध्वमदः पूर्णम्
Purnam
sac-chid-aanandam-advayam
sac-chid-aanandam
अनन्तं नित्यमेकं यत्
anantam nityamekam yat
तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्
तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्
अतद्व्यावृत्तिरूपेण
Atad-vyaa-vritti
वेदान्तैर्लक्ष्यते द्वयम्
वेदान्तैर्लक्ष्यते द्वयम्
अखण्डानन्दमेकं यत् तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्
मेत्यवधारयेत्
तिर्यगूर्ध्वमधः पूर्णं सच्चिदानन्दमद्वयम् अनन्तं नित्यमेकं यत् तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत् अतद्व्यावृत्तिरूपेण वेदान्तैर्लक्ष्यते द्वयम् अखण्डानन्दमेकं यत् तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्
तिर्यग ऊर्ध्वम अधः पूर्णम सच्चिदानंदम अद्वयम अनंतम नित्यम एकम तद्ब्रह्म इति अवधारयेत. Comprehend this, revel in this. What? Tiryag. Tiryag, all this x-axis, so to say, tiryag. Here. Urdhvam, up. Adaha, y-axis. Everywhere. X-axis, y-axis, z-axis, any axis you put, Purnam. Filling up everything. Complete. Nothing lacking. No space left. No space left means what? Space is also in it only. No time. No time is also in it only. It is the truth in which everything including space and time are superimposed. Sac-chid-aanandam advayam. Sat, existence. Chit, consciousness. Ananda, bliss. Advayam, with no duality whatsoever. Anantam, infinite. Nityam, eternal. Ekam, one. Tad Brahma iti ava-dhaarayet. That is Brahman. And that Atad-vyaa-vritti rupena vedantaihi lakshate advayam, that which the Vedantas, Upanishads, they don't find any words to explain about it. They only say, not this, not this. They only negate. Negating all that is false, that Vedanta which lakshyate. Lakshyate means what? It points out without the words reaching there. Only the words point out. You have to see through those words beyond the words. There is no word there. There is no thought there. That non-dual, akhandam, unbroken, ekam, one. That which is this, yathaa, tad brahma iti ava-dhaarayet. Know that to be Brahman. These verses up to verse number 61 are verses for reveling in the self. They are not for discoursing and explaining. Yes. Yallabhan naparo laabhaah, yat sukhan naparam sukham, yad jnanat naparam jnanam, tad brahmetyavadharayet. These are also verses for your deep meditation. Just take and then meditate. Yad drishtva naparam drishyam, yad bhutva na punar-bhavah, yad jnatva naparam jneyam, tad brahmetyavadharayet. Tiryagurdvamadah purnam sac-chid-aanandam advayam anantam nityamekam yat tad brahmetyavadharayet. Atad-vyaa-vritti rupena vedantaiर्लक्ष्यते द्वयम् akhand-aanandamekam yat tad brahmetyavadharayet. Atad-vyaa-vritti. Vyaa-vritti means negate. Atad means what? Negating all that which is not. Negating all that which is not. Meaning what? Negating all the false. Negating all the nama-rupa. Negating the bubble. What is the truth? Water. Negating the wave. What is the truth? Water. Negating the pot. What is it? Clay. Negating the ornament. What is it? Gold. Negating the snake. What is it? Rope. Negating the silver. What is it? Negating the man, thief. What is it? Post. In this way, all that Vedanta does is negating the false. Truth you have to see. Vedanta cannot. Vedanta can only show you, but cannot take you there. You have to go through your intuitive perception, realization, aparopshanubhuti. These verses flow. Rest of the verse we'll take up tomorrow. Yeah. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.